The PlayStation Plus freebies for the month of January are a little bit delayed as far as when we're gonna figure out what they are. I imagine this is because of the holidays, the new year. I would assume that we're gonna hear about it either over the weekend or early next week. That would make the most logical sense. I don't know if the games are gonna go live on January 1st, the traditional first Wednesday of the month time period. But nonetheless, here I am to speculate and suggest to Sony what games I would love to get as a PlayStation Plus subscriber next month. I like doing this series because it at least lets us be vocal about the kinds of games that we want to see in Plus, so much so that I hear in comment sections on social media that people are upset with the Plus offerings, but they don't ever really offer better suggestions. Now, some people want the highest end games that just came out. Obviously, we're not getting a Death Stranding, but in this series, I like to be a little bit reasonable with my expectations and suggest games that not only make sense, but also can be used as promotional vehicles for upcoming games. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I have 6 games to go over, so let's get started with Pillars of Eternity Complete Edition. Now, January's biggest game release, or one of them, you can either debate it's Dragon Ball Kakarot, or you can debate it's Pillars of Eternity 2 finally making its way over to the PlayStation 4, and I think it would be a great idea to introduce Pillars of Eternity to console gamers by offering it as a freebie to PlayStation Plus subscribers. Now, exactly how this would work would be a little bit murky. Obsidian did just get acquired by Microsoft, but Pillars of Eternity wasn't published by Microsoft, so that shouldn't be a big deal in getting a deal worked out like that. And PoE 2 is coming to PlayStation 4, so it makes all the sense in the world. Now, the only reason it doesn't make complete sense is, in an ideal world, I wouldn't have put Pillars of Eternity as a Plus game the same month that the sequel comes out. I would have given it a month or two of breathing room just so you give people a chance to play through Pillars of Eternity 1, and then they could get properly excited for 2. If Pillars of Eternity 1 is a freebie in January, that's fantastic, and people should be very happy with that. Unfortunately, it is such a lengthy game that I think it might actually be a little bit of a hindrance to Pillars of Eternity 2 because people are just going to be busy with this game. Whatever the case may be, I want Pillars of Eternity to be a bigger franchise and a bigger series. It doesn't really get the attention it deserves, and maybe that's because it's a game that's more suited for a PC. It's definitely of that archetype. However, it is an excellent game, and it does work well with the DualShock 4 controller. Complete Edition includes the expansions as well. It's a fantastic RPG, and Pillars of Eternity 2 looks even better, and the sequel was received really well on PC back when it released in 2018. So the first game, not necessarily being used as a promotional vehicle in this sense, just because, as I mentioned, if it is offered as a freebie, people are probably going to be busy with it a little bit too much, but I would like to see Pillars of Eternity at some point be offered as a freebie because you have to entice people to check a game like this out. It might be a little bit off-putting to the regular PlayStation fan base, however, it is an excellent game, and if you give it some time, it is worthwhile. Next up, here's a PlayStation 4 exclusive that I always try to go to bat for, but unfortunately seems to have gone to the wayside, and that is Gravity Rush 2. Either Gravity Rush Remastered or Gravity Rush 2 as a PlayStation Plus freebie makes all of the sense in the world. Look, this is a franchise that, unless something dramatic happens, I don't think Sony is going to go back to anytime soon, and there's a considerable amount of people that unfortunately never gave Gravity Rush a chance. That breaks my heart saying that because Gravity Rush and Gravity Rush 2 are phenomenal games. Gravity Rush, initially a PlayStation Vita title, one of the marquee titles for that console, but of course being relegated to the Vita is going to limit your popularity quite a bit. Gravity Rush 2 was ultimately released on the PlayStation 4 and a considerably better game than the first, but it didn't get that fanfare outside of a cult following, and really only that cult following has sustained over the last few years. I believe the game came out back in 2017. Been nearly 3 years since GR2 came out, and yes, the people that played the game absolutely bummed that we're probably never going to get a Gravity Rush 3. However, the game is excellent, and why not familiarize a subsect of the audience with Gravity Rush by offering Gravity Rush 2 as a freebie? That's the one I would offer. Remastered is good, but Gravity Rush 2 is a game built ground up for the PS4. At least give gamers a chance to decide for themselves if the game is good or not. It's not an issue of the game lacking in quality, it's an issue of people not giving the game a chance, and I feel like in today's climate, if it is offered as a Plus title, especially in the month of January where it is a little bit more quiet in terms of game releases, I think people would be all over Gravity Rush 2. I'm not saying it would create this groundswell of attention for the series to garner a release of Gravity Rush 3 or the development of that game or whatever the case may be, but this is how you build an audience for a game, especially because Gravity Rush 2 is a game that goes on sale all the time. It's been down to like $6, but there's a difference between a game being offered for free for subscribers and then being offered for $6. Gravity Rush 2 is the type of game that Sony owns the rights to it. They have the IP in their back pocket, offer it as a plus game. I think people will be happy with it, and it does a lot for trying to revive the franchise, and that's something that I'm going to be harkening back to for the next few years. I'm going to be one of those people that, much like Beyond Good and Evil, I'm going to be trying to propel Gravity Rush for as long as I can to ultimately one day hopefully get a Gravity Rush 3, but as a plus title, GR2 would be a great offering. Alright, next up, Ghost Recon Wildlands is a game that I think would be good as a plus title. Ghost Recon Breakpoint obviously came out. Unfortunately, that game is not doing all too well. You can make an argument that that game should be a PlayStation Plus freebie. I think that's a little bit too recent of a release to offer it, but it has been down to as low as $20. Yes, the game came out like 2 months ago, and it is down to $20. Whatever the case may be on that, Wildlands has developed into a pretty decent game. I know that there was some backlash on Wildlands initially, but after a couple updates, and if you play the game with a couple friends, Wildlands is actually a very, very fun time, and I always like the idea of offering different kinds of plus games, whether it be a plus game to use it as a promotional vehicle, or offering a multiplayer game that would inherently be better if you're playing with friends. And Ghost Recon Wildlands is that kind of game that you're probably not going to convince your buddies to pick up right now. However, as a plus game, you guys are inherently just going to check it out, and you can jump in together, you can have some fun, and hopefully if Wildlands gets some attention, maybe you can backtrack and kind of use that as a promotional vehicle into Breakpoint. I don't really know if Breakpoint is a salvageable experience. Let's be real, everything is a salvageable experience when you take a look at how well Final Fantasy XIV is doing, but nonetheless, I think Wildlands would be something really good to offer right now. Alright, next up, how about a great fighting game? Injustice 2 is something that I would love to see. We need more quality fighting games being offered as PlayStation Plus freebie. I think they gave us Tekken 7 a while back, but Injustice 2 would be a really good one. I don't really know if they even offer the base Injustice 2 game anymore. The only one that I see running around is the Ultimate Edition, but even if you want to offer us the base game, that would be something I would really appreciate. If it's the Ultimate Edition, hey, even better. I think Injustice 2 is one of the best fighting games that has been released this generation. Doesn't really get that attention. I feel like there have been other fighters that have kind of outpaced it, but Injustice 2 is a high quality one, and it's one that even if you're not a big fan of fighting games, just because of all of the marquee characters that are present in Injustice 2, it would be one that a lot of people would just check as a header, see that it's a free plus game, and then give it a download. And again, a game like this, robusting the PlayStation Online community for a title like Injustice 2, that pays dividends as well, and ultimately it'll make the game successful in the long haul if more people are playing it, because a fighting game with a dead community, which Injustice 2 doesn't have at this point, but why not bolster up the community a little bit? It always helps to do something like that. Alright, next up, there have been rumblings about Patapon 2 coming to the PlayStation 4, and that's pretty much confirmed to be happening. Patapon Remastered would be a great offering to Plus subscribers. This is the perfect kind of game that, no, it can't headline a Plus lineup, and these two final games that we're looking at are really games like that, but Patapon Remastered acts as a great complementary title. If we could have a month where we get like a Pillars of Eternity or a Gravity Rush 2, and you couple that with a Patapon Remastered, that is exactly the kind of month I want. Patapon Remastered is going to be the game that some people look at and they're gonna be like, I don't know what that game is all about, but then you actually play it, and again, there's no investment in trying the game out as a Plus subscriber, and they're gonna really enjoy it. At least they're gonna be enamored by the quirkiness of the game, and maybe that'll parlay into the success of Patapon 2. I think it's a great idea, and Patapon 2, a considerably better game than the first, so it's not like this would be a case like Pillars of Eternity 1 arguably would be, where you might push away some people in checking out Patapon 2. I think Patapon Remastered would ultimately be a really great promotional vehicle for Patapon 2 when that does come out. Patapon 2 was received really, really well as well. That game got like a 9.5 on IGN, so think about that for a second. And PSP games getting 9.5s, which Patapon 2 was initially a PSP game, but that is very, very impressive. Alright, and lastly, a title that I think would be great as a complimentary title, Hyper Light Drifter. Hyper Light Drifter is an excellent game that has kind of lost attention over the last few years. Actually, as of this moment, it is a freebie on the Epic Game Store, so if you do have a PC, even a lower-end PC, you can get this game for free now, but why not also offer it for free on the PlayStation 4 as a Plus title? Obviously, if they're offering it free on EGS, Heart Machine, the developers are very willing to offer the game in free services, and why not offer it as a plus title? This is the kind of game that, unlike Patapon, where it might be a little bit off-putting at first, Hyper Light Drifter is the kind of game I think a lot of people look at and are completely captivated by the game right away. It's just a game that has kind of fallen out of the news cycle, and that's to be expected. The game's been out for nearly 4 years now. Great pixel graphics art style. I love the presentation in this game. The gameplay is great. Think something a little bit Legend of Zelda, some puzzle solving here, a great soundtrack, a lot of great elements come together and make Hyper Light Drifter a high-quality game. It's been received really well, has like an 85 on Metacritic. Steam reception was really strong as well for the PC version. Hyper Light Drifter is an excellent game, just not a lot of people are talking about it anymore. It still goes for a decently high price. If it's on sale, it'll still be, you know, $10, $12. That's a little bit too expensive, but as a freebie on Plus, I think a lot of people would be excited to check that out. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, we should find what exactly are the Plus freebies for the month of January relatively soon, but I offer you guys 6 games that I would really love to get, not only in January, but anytime in the near future. I think all of these would be really good Plus freebies. So that's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.